Welcome back, everyone, for chapter 27. Then Job continued his discourse and said, "As God lives, who has taken away my right, and the Almighty, who has embittered my soul," he's wrong, "for as long as life is in me, and the breath of God is in my nostrils, my lips certainly will not speak unjustly, nor will my tongue mutter deceit. Far be it from me that I should declare you right," speaking to the fellows here. "Till I die, I will not put away my integrity from me. I hold fast my righteousness and will not let it go. My heart does not reproach any of my days." We've seen Job teeter on this issue throughout this entire book. In his heart, he knows that he's lived as upright as possible, but his friends and circumstances mess with his mind and make him wonder. But right now, he's back to his original position. "May my enemy be as the wicked, and my opponent as the unjust. For what is the hope of the godless when he is cut off, when God requires his life? Will God hear his cry when distress comes upon him? Will he take delight in the Almighty? Will he call on God at all times? I will instruct you in the power of God. What is with the Almighty I will not conceal. Behold, all of you have seen it. Why then do you act foolishly?" So Job's saying, in contrast with wicked people, he could instruct his bitter companions about God's ways, which goes against what Eliphaz said in chapter 22, verse 22, when he told Job to receive instruction from God's mouth and to establish his words in Job's heart. All right, verse 13. "This is the portion of a wicked man from God, and the inheritance which tyrants receive from the Almighty. Though his sons are many, they are destined for the sword, and his descendants will not be satisfied with bread. His survivors will be buried because of the plague, and their widows will not be able to weep. Though he piles up silver like dust, and prepares garments as plentiful as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just will wear it, and the innocent will divide the silver." So Job's still talking about the wicked and tyrants from verse 13. All right, here we go, verse 18. "He has built his house like the spider's web, or as a hut which the watchman has made. He lies down rich, but never again. He opens his eyes, and it is no longer. Terrors overtake him like a flood. A tempest steals him away in the night. The east wind carries him away, and he is gone, for it whirls him away from his place. For it will hurl at him without sparing. He will surely try to flee from its power. Men will clap their hands at him and will hiss him from his place." So this chapter affirms people's inability to comprehend God's wisdom, contrasting the antagonists who claim that they knew what God was doing in Job's life. Okay, well, thanks as always for being here with me. Today, I'm going to use the time that we normally set aside for prayer to do something a little different. I'm going to give you a homework assignment. All right, don't hit stop. Don't hit that button. Okay. As we've been praying about God's mercy and grace in our lives, I truly did sense God prompting me to encourage us all to have a solid understanding on what a believer's struggle with sin looks like from a biblical perspective. So let me read a passage from the Apostle Paul from the book of Romans, and this is after he came to know Christ, and then I will explain the assignment. Okay, Romans chapter 7, verses 15 through 25. "For I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. Now, if I do what I do not want, I agree with the law, that it is good. So now it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing." Okay. Pastor John MacArthur is one of my favorites. I've got a bunch, but he's definitely on the top of the list. He has a great two-part sermon called "The Believer and the Indwelling Sin" that I want to encourage us all to listen to. You may need to break it up this week because it will take a little bit of an investment of time. It's a little over an hour and a half, I believe, but it is something that we can all do right before going to bed. It will clarify how we still wrestle with sin as believers, even when other passages state that a believer cannot go on making a habit or practice of sin. So if you go to YouTube, or if you want to listen to it on audio, you can go to Google and type in the believer and indwelling sin. And if you do it through Google, it will take you to Pastor MacArthur's website, which is called gty.org, which stands for Grace to You. And reminder, 1 John chapter 1, verse 8 says, if we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. So I just felt it necessary to use this time to announce that I really do hope everybody takes the time to listen to this. I just think it's critical to have a solid understanding of how that works in the Christian life. Number one, so we don't get discouraged. And then number two, so we have a good understanding of how the indwelling of the Holy Spirit and our wrestle with sin all works out. I think it's really important. So in no way am I giving any excuse to sin, and neither will Pastor MacArthur, but it will help us all to have a little bit deeper grasp on how that all works. So there's your homework assignment. I hope you do it, and I'm going to do it as well. I'm going to go back through it again. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Take care.